My name is Sangeet, and today I have something very special to tell you. Sometimes something happens and our body becomes too small to accommodate our emotions. If it is something amazing and pleasant that makes us feel on top of the world, then it will come out as many smiles, laughs, jumps of joy, a whole bag of enthusiasm for everything that all of a sudden feels so right and so present. And if our body is struggling to contain it all, it is fine, because to feel it deeply feels tremendously good. And who would mind to spend a significant amount of time celebrating every second of life, right? On the other hand, if it happens to be the opposite spectrum of emotions, the ones that bring us so down that our body seems to struggle to handle, and crying seems never enough to get everything out, then we may see ourselves in a very difficult position. And while some of us would prefer to suppress everything, letting all out is one of the best ways to surpass it and to heal. In fact, we all end up doing it, whether we want it or not, as emotions tend to find a way to come out anyway. However, if we want to do it consciously, and in a way that interferes the least with our daily life, I can tell you a practical example that can inspire you, and for that, I will share something very close to my heart. My true friend, who happens to be a dog, is now missing for more than a year. I could tell you the entire story, but I will just say that all he intended was to play and to explore nature a bit more than usual, and at his second secret adventure, he never came back. Years ago, he was also gone, but for completely different reasons, and he came back after a few days. At that time, I immediately connected to him, and I received all sorts of signs and synchronicities. However, this time it was totally the opposite. I wasn't able to establish any sort of internal connection. I couldn't see him or feel him, and I didn't receive any signs. The only feelings that I had were a deep, deep sadness, so much so that sometimes I could hardly feel it all, along with a profound sense of loss. After a while, I could push myself into some sort of visualization, but it never felt truly real. In the meantime, I was and I had to focus on other things as well, and so I noticed something interesting happening. At that time, I was meditating several times a day, and after this happened, despite the type of meditation, every time I would do it, all my body, mind, and energy were being totally given and directed to him and to our connection, and therefore I would compulsively cry the entire time. It felt as if my system was pushing me into a place where I could let it all out without splitting my energy and without creating chaos on top of chaos. I wasn't suppressing or projecting it. I was just letting it be, only in an organized and consistent way. This didn't stop me from feeling emotions throughout the day, and it didn't create any obligation to feel only at certain times. What it did was to help me continue my life as much as possible while facing something so painful. Every day, whatever I needed to feel, to say, or to express, I knew that I would have more than one special moment for that, apart from any other moment that would naturally come to me. When we find a proper way to channel our emotions, especially those that we struggle the most to deal with, we get to experience things in a more balanced way because we get to somehow contain and take control of the energy, not in an aggressive and forced way, but in a powerful one. This doesn't take away our feelings and emotions. It doesn't make them miraculously disappear, but it makes us feel safer and empowered enough to go through it the best way that we can. So today, if for some reason we are struggling with our deep emotions, let's create space and time for them, in whatever way resonates and works best for us. Our emotions matter, they are real, they are valid, and they deserve to be heard, to be seen, and to be felt. After all, what would life be all about if we couldn't feel at all?